Toyota is considering whether going all hybrid only makes more sense than investing in electric vehicles. Toyota may be one of the slowest legacy automakers to develop EVs, but it could soon be the first to jettison cars powered by only gasoline. Yes, folks, that's a true reality coming from the biggest automaker on planet Earth, whose stubborn focus on hybrids has started to pay off so far this year. Get this, folks. The company earlier this year raised its profit guidance by 9% for the full year 2024 and sold more than 410,000 hybrid sales. As a matter of fact, folks, hybrids accounted for 33% of its North American vehicle sales, up 6 percentage points from 2023. Toyota and Lexus now hold nearly 60% market share in the US hybrid market, and the company isn't expecting to slow down its rollout of these vehicles anytime soon. Not only is the average hybrid electric vehicle $14,884 cheaper than the average electric car in the United States, but hybrids are more popular because they make sense, offer conventional utilization, and are often more easier to use and get used to. What's more is that the US lowered its pollution limits under new regulations that were announced just back in March, which will help Toyota save billions of dollars in fines and costs while buying the company more time to develop electric vehicles, whether it be through hydrogen or solid-state batteries. And guess what? Consumers are favoring Toyota's decision, as higher interest rates and inflation have focused much more on consumers purchasing cheaper vehicles that are not only cheaper to run, but don't require infrastructure to invest in for the short term, such as an at-home EV charger. This chart right here summarizes some of the main concerns people have when buying EV versus hybrid. As you can see, although the mileage is much better for a Tesla Model 3 compared to a Corolla hybrid, in the long run, it actually makes more sense for certain consumers within the country to buy the Toyota. Because as you can see, folks, despite the 40 miles per gallon that a RAV4 hybrid and 123 miles per gallon that a Tesla Model Y gets, the cost per week charging at a supercharger versus filling the car up for $5.07 a gallon is almost comparable for both vehicles. Most superchargers, like in California, for example, have pretty significant wait times and as a result have pretty high costs, anywhere from 60 to 70 cents per kilowatt hour. This results in math that favors hybrids over a certain amount of mileage per year compared to battery-only EVs, unless you charge at home. And this, folks, right here is the massive caveat that is distinguishing these industries. Most people don't know you can charge an electric vehicle at home, and although it takes a significantly longer amount of time, when people do invest in an at-home charger, they have the luxury of charging overnight and at much cheaper electricity rates, almost 30 to 20% of that at a supercharger. At that cost, it is much more economical to drive an electric car over the long term, even if you consider the 1-6-90 rule, where 90 Toyota hybrids can take up as much battery chemicals as one fully electric vehicle can, which at scale results in significant carbon reduction, but we haven't reached that scale just yet. But because the pandemic era of spending, at least in North America, has significantly waned down and growth is slowing, consumers are resorting to familiarity and ease of use through hybrid technology, which is why Toyota stock and sales have skyrocketed since the start of this year. And lease deals and used car market values are so cheap, many consumers are even afraid to pick up these vehicles in spite of their great deals. As a matter of fact, hybrids made 3% of all US sales in 2019, and now they're at 11.3% and rising fast. Not to mention that these cars are not as expensive anymore to produce for Toyota and other OEMs, with an average anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000 additional cost per vehicle. And with Toyota's reputation and significant pricing power, the company is able to make record profit and give its shareholders a significant amount of value, which just so happens to be occurring at the same time when the overall electric car industry has become very saturated and early adoption has slowed down. Whether these events are correlated is a question for industry analysts to answer. But the fact of the matter is that although Toyota hybrids are great vehicles and clearly were the right decision for the company to invest in when they first started selling the Prius back in 2000, it isn't necessarily the long-term solution we're all looking for. Because hybrids still use gasoline engines and significant amount of materials to produce them, there's still more carbon pollution compared to a battery electric vehicle only over its entire lifespan. But hybrids offer a great pathway for transition from combustion to EVs, which is clearly what Toyota made a bet on and is starting to now pay off, as many OEMs are starting to launch new hybrids in suit. Toyota, as a matter of fact, is investing in a North Carolina battery plant that is going to be able to produce 30 gigawatt hours of batteries annually, which will allow the company to invest in its own supply chain in the United States and help lower the cost of its electric models. The company clearly realizes that it doesn't have an advantage in EVs and has hence been cautious in investing in that industry. Whether or not this will be sustainable, only time will tell, but the reality is, right now, Toyota has the edge in profits as well as growth compared to Tesla. But as usual, folks, that is just my take on the situation, so let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below. Thanks all for watching. Take care.